Hello there, and welcome to Return of the Obra Dinn, an amazing game created by Lucas Pope, which is basically going to be Sherlock Holmes traveling back in time and being a time traveler while solving 60 murders or 60 deaths and like the fate of people. I have already completed this once, but what an amazing journey it was. So I will just go through the introduction with you guys so you can see what this game is going to be about. So we're in the 1800, right? Or the 1900 actually, because it's 1803. And we're looking for this ship, the Obra Dinn, and going to solve the things.
Company man woke me up. Said you'd need ferry to the Obra Dinn. Not many eager for that job. Seems a bit late if you ask.
I didn't.
What's in the box?
I don't know. Hoist it up in a few minutes.
Hey! How?
Carefully.
So basically, as you might have noticed, the distinct art style, which is a brilliant art style to be honest. I absolutely adore this. However, let's say you do not like this black and white-esque, you can actually go in and changing it to the different old school kind of monochrome visuals, right? Like this is from the Commodore. Like such a neat little detail. Like this is old school LCD screens and like just a throwback. I'm gonna keep it in Macintosh because that's the default setting. So this is the Obra Dinn, and as you can see, she's a bit worse for wear, to be honest. And if we look at here, we have our first death. Let's see, we cannot go in here. But we can go in here, right? So the idea is that we're supposed to finding out how to solve his death. Now, if we look closely, we can see there's an X nearby. That means potentially this guy
It's too heavy!
got axed. But yeah, so now we're getting the base instructions of how to actually play the game, and then I will show you the first couple of things. However, the game is actually doing a very well done job of explaining how it all works.
Take it yourself or open it here.
We will open it here. We're getting a book without any markings. But this is going to be your entire life in this game. So as it states here, I'll let you guys pause it if you want to read it, but in general, we are here on the Obra Dinn in order to find all the fates. We're getting a pocket watch to determine the identity and fate of everyone aboard, and the more we complete, the better score we will get by the end. There's not a score per se, but there's a good ending and a bad ending. There's also one chapter that will only be available once you've actually finished all of the stuff you can do. But hopefully you will find that by yourself. So, you can follow the journey once you've locked them in, like all the spots or places we've been. A full layout of the ship that we have access to, so all four. And here we have all the people you need to figure out how they may or may not have died, and how they are all interconnected. It's a brilliant puzzle game, and this here is basically just like a way for you to figure out like who people are and how they interact. Like we have this thing called the Formosan royalty. Oh yeah, there's also been I guess it's strong and quartered situation. But enough about that. Okay, fair enough. Gotta skim through the entire book. As you can see, there will be a lot of pages to fill in. Thankfully, you don't have to write any of this. They will pretty much just show it to you. In the back, you have a glossary in case you need to figure out, like, what in the world does a purser do? Well, this might lead you to some conclusions further down the line, right? But enough about that. We will get back to that and I will show you exactly how it works on the first couple of things. But we have Memento Mortem, or Remember Death. The amazing pocket watch, which will allow us to begin our quest in order to solve all the peculiar cases of this lovely, lovely game. So see, if we go here, right? Now we're heading back in time in order to actually figure out what happened.
Captain, open the door! Kick it in. Ah! Lest we break it down and take more than those shells! You bastards may take exactly what I give you!
So, we have someone here, which appears to be the captain. He shot this guy. And then we have another person present, but there was only one corpse. And and look at that, we have another person right here. But there was only one corpse, so what could have happened? Well, we could guess this guy is the captain. Once again, look at this amazing art style. But yeah, that must be the captain, right? By that definition. He's got a proper hat and a uniform. Well, not currently, but in the picture. And now we're traveling back in time. Or forward in time. Back to where we were just a second ago. And now we will get a short introduction to how it all works, right? So this is the very, very end of the journey, where we are going to be able to see outside the captain's quarters. We found there were 3 other people present outside of the guy who we just found. So we can say, well, we know he got shot by a gun. We don't know for sure it's the captain, but let's be honest, he's calling for the captain, so it must be the captain, right? But we don't know who he is. And here we can see the X's marks that this is the guy who were yelling this. This, here, kick it in, must have been the other guy. And then we go back to this. And we can assume, as the game was earlier, it's no longer blurred, which means we can identify him to the point of like knowing exactly who he is. And that's the whole, that's the premise of the game. Figuring out how all the different relationships interconnect and figure out who is related or has some form of friendship or commanding officer, subordinate relationships. And like even to the point where one of the one person I only got because I noticed he had a Danish accent. And that just made sense to me that, okay, then this guy must be the only Danish guy aboard this ship. Hopefully you will find him yourself. But yeah, decisive information is rare. You'll have to make assumption using partial information. Love imperfect game design. It's amazing. And you can, like, some of these will only make sense based upon guesswork earlier on, which will then trickle down into everything else. And this guy, Honest to God, this guy took me forever to find. Despite him being like one of the first people we will meet, I had so much trouble figuring him out. Now you can see the door opened, so that means we've basically got all the information we have here, and we can now return to the Obra Dinn and see that this door that was locked before is now opened because we now have seen this guy's memories where the door was opened. And now we can see, oh, there are 2 new things here. An X on the door means that they're locked. So let's just take this first one then. God, I love this.
Where are they? Must be in here someplace. They're at the bottom of the sea. That's a lie.
I will warn you, some of the soundscape in this game can be quite grotesque. But now we know how this guy died. Because he got knifed. This guy got knifed by the captain. Since this is the captain, right? And then you might be thinking, oh, so the captain must have been let out from his stab wound here and crawled over here to die, right? But maybe if you were looking closely, you could see this guy jumped down from behind. So he must be part of this. And just this form of deduction is so amazing. Like, from the bottom of my heart, this has been one of my favorite games in a long time to actually play and finish. So we can see his face is still very blurry, so we have no idea who this guy is. We can't, like, we could guess in theory, but we at least know that he got, where is it, knifed by the captain. And then we can see that there were 2 other people present, which was these 2. So using either the text or the images, because it only highlights the people who were present, can sometimes help you in figuring out the exact parameters of each fate you're going to figure out as you're playing through this game. But that means we're still missing this guy. So let's see if it is indeed the captain. No. It's this guy. Because the way the pocket watch works is that we're transported back in time to the exact moment they died, which means this is the exact moment this guy died. Due to blunt force trauma to the front of his head, I guess. And the captain got stabbed, but you can see that door is now open. And there's someone laying here. So the question is, who is she? And what happened to her? We will find out in just a little bit. Ah, this is such an amazing game. So he got clubbed by the captain. Still have no idea what his name is, right? So we need to continue investigating. But now that door should be open in the real world. because we have time traveled through. And indeed it is. And that's not skeleton. But then I would reckon to say that this might be the captain. Who have basically crumbled.
Your brother, my friend.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I shot him dead.
Mm.
I'll be with you soon, my love. Please forgive me for everything.
So, that was the end of the captain, but now we know that this is the captain's wife, and her brother was shot by the captain. So suddenly, we have at least those 3 people correct. So I'll just quickly show you how it all works in solving the fates, because now we know the fate of one guy and we know his name and his rank. We know exactly what happened. We know exactly what happened to his death, and hopefully we can find out what her death or her fate was, right? Such an I love this music, the art style, everything. That means that we know he committed suicide with a gun. May or may not be correct. I mean, we kind of saw it happen, so, you know. But yeah, they're validated and set free. And that's where the whole puzzle game begins, because it's all about figuring out everything in sets of 3, which is such an interesting way or change of dynamic. So if we go to this guy, we now know we have a Abigail Hoscott Witterell, and there's no one else on this ship named Abigail. So that means, well, we know that the captain was her husband. So that's Witterell. We have Huscott, which is William Huscott, which means that this guy must be the first mate. So now we have 2 technically. So once we figure out what killed Abigail, right, that could be our 3rd clue in order to figure out how she died and whether or not our 2 previous deductions were correct. So let's see how she died, shall we? Oh. So she got hit by a mast, but what's this? Oh my god. There's a kraken. And people fighting it. And now you can suddenly see that, okay, we got 1, 2, 3. Oh, we know another guy died here. There's. I was so confused the first time I watched this. I was like, holy, what's going on? We have this guy here, the postman. At least we're always able to go back to a previous death by going back to that corpse and using the pocket watch and also rewind time to that particular point in time. But yeah, now we found the doom. What basically doomed the entire ship, or what's left of the ship at this point, because this is part 7 of this entire journey. So we know this was Abigail, and she got, I would say, crushed by rigging. The first 3 fates are correct. And then they will be filled in like this. So now we know for sure that those things are correct. And we will get our first 3 strikes. And I think that is where I will leave it. I highly recommend this game. Without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. If you like puzzle games, it's an amazing puzzle game. If you like murder mysteries, well, you gotta figure out how people died. Or not. And figure out everything how it works. Because now we're getting to the deeper end where you will be able to go back to another person's death that had occurred before the person you found. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this review. I would say this is an amazing game. Buy it, buy it, buy it. Experience this game for yourself and rack your brain until you figure it out. It's amazing and well worth every single penny I have spent for this game. I have streamed this over on Twitch, and I will also continue to stream other games that I will be reviewing and playing in the future. Until then, have a nice day.